Hi, Deedee Mason here with Across the Board. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one who's not in a celebratory mood today. So instead of a mimosa, I am having something else just to ease the pain. At any rate, I wanted to kind of, discuss what the hell happened. Um, how America chose a rapist over a decent human being is beyond my comprehension. I can't wrap my head around it, and I know I'm not alone in this. I can't wrap my head around how there are that many people in this country that have so much hatred towards the other that they would choose a rapist and a 34-time convicted felon, a man who tried to overthrow our government, a man who called people vermin, just, yeah, my mind's pretty blown. Um, and like I said, I know I'm not alone. I am heartbroken, disgusted, appalled, um, still in shock. And I think these are all normal feelings. Just that there is that much hate. Um, I can't get my head around it. I really can't. And I don't think that I want to. Um, and the people that chose this, that still don't believe that Donald Trump is going to come at us with everything that he said that he was going to do, the revenge and retribution and setting up camps and rounding up immigrants. Well, I'm telling you right now, and I don't mean to be dramatic and I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but if you are not of white skin, I strongly recommend you make sure that you're carrying your identification with you at all times because you could be swept up in one of these groups. They could say you're Haitian, you're Jamaican, you are El Salvador, you're from Taiwan, you're Malaysian, you're any number of countries that have people with brown skin, dark skin. So if you're in this country as an immigrant and you have fair skin, you're okay. You'll be fine. Most likely, you'll be fine unless you're Jewish. And the Jewish people, even if you've lived in this country for generations, just be on alert. Um, the people who have the worst of intentions, the worst of impulses, have now been given permission, so to speak. They have been given a reinforcement to their beliefs that they are better than others and that they have a right to treat the other any way they deem fit because they're better, and that the courts will abide and that they'll be forgiven and this will be accepted. This is now what is the norm. This is and it's scary. That these people who have vowed retribution, these people who have called immigrants vermin, these people who have called journalists, who call them out, the enemy. This is so reminiscent of Germany, and even how things got taken over in Russia, which is a little more close to what's happening here, probably. Russia had become a democracy. And I mean, you remember Reagan, tear down this wall. And he did. Gorbachev tore down the wall. And Russia became part of the global community. And then you saw some countries pull away, the Baltics, Crimea, Ukraine, formed their own countries, and they were allowed to, they were able to, because of votes, democracy. And then you had Putin came along. He was former KGB. Well, he infiltrated with his mentality and his people, and he surrounded himself with people like him, and he took over the media, and he took over the courts. And does this not all sound familiar to you? They allowed someone in who they never should have. They allowed the wolf into the hen house. They invited him in and said, make this better. We believe you're the one who can do this. And it was the beginning of the end for Russia. And now they can barely breathe any words of dissent without on their door, and the police coming to haul them away. China has something similar. North Korea, something even more extreme. They'll take your whole family. And China, they've got the re-indoctrination camps, or re-education camps. And I'm gonna tell you how this came about in this country. I largely blame religion, and our acceptance and tolerance of people pushing their beliefs into our way of life, our laws, our norms. They injected their God into our Pledge of Allegiance when it wasn't there before. They injected their God onto our currency, which wasn't there before. And little by little, they started infiltrating with their God mentality, and their insistence that we all accept their belief. Well, what about all the other beliefs? That was kind of it here in America, was that, we didn't go by anybody's set beliefs, because we're a society of immigrants. And yeah, my earbuds are going on the blinky on me again. I don't know. Maybe I need to give them a charge. Just take them out. I don't know. I'll play with them. But at any rate, this country was initially supposed to not have anything to do with allowing religious beliefs to dictate our laws, our educational system, and we let it in. We let it in. We let it whittle its way in. And now what we have is a government that, if this happens, if this transpires, unless by some miracle we find that this election was rigged, unless by some miracle society rises up and says no. I mean, I don't know. I haven't even been able to look at the news, but I understand that he won the popular vote. I can't even say his name. But it is That's just beyond rational thinking. Uh, First time he lost by over 3 million. Last time he lost by over 8 million. And this time won by over 5 million. What? Um, I'm not going to go down any rabbit holes the way the other side did, but I'm telling you, something stinks in Denmark at big time. Um, and whether or not somebody's looking into this, I hope so. I hope that that's the case. I hope that something will be done, but I can't, I can't, I can't ascribe to it. I can't go down that rabbit hole. I like the other side did. I'm just, giving me my little plug. All we can do is what we can do. And if you're in mourning right now, as I am, it's understandable. And what do we do from here? Where do we go from here? That's an excellent question. Because now, they're of course going to be taking our courts. I talked last episode about how they've taken over our media. And how does a democracy survive this? And I just, once again, I'm saying, look at Russia. And if you don't think that this gave Putin a green light, that now he can go bam at Ukraine, I can't even imagine what poor Zelensky must have woken up feeling on November 6th, even more than Americans, because I mean, or probably something similar, because I'm sure he's terrified now. Hopefully, the other countries in Europe have shored up the defenses and are going to have a lot of money to invest and are ready to hold the line. Because I don't think that Donald Trump will send troops or assistance to hold the line against Putin. And I don't think that he will hold the line in Taiwan against China invading. I fear the worst. I really do. I'm sorry to say that. But I do. I truly fear the worst at this point in time. And I don't want to make this a really long-winded episode, because really, what do we know at this point that we can really talk about? Other than just be prepared to start seeing it. When you see it, try not to be afraid to speak up. Try not to look away. Try to film it. Expose it. Speak up. Stand up for one another. If you see someone going at somebody, bullying, antagonizing, intimidating, harassing, speak up. Stand up for them. Film it. But don't just film it. Make sure you're speaking up. We're going to need to expose what's happening. So we cannot be afraid to do that. If we're afraid to do that, we've really lost it all. And I understand the fear. I really, really do. But we have to do that. And I'll tell you point blank, honestly, I am looking at relocating to another country, somewhere where I can still vote and I can maintain a voice here, but I can be safely away from it, so that in the event that I say something that makes me an enemy, that I'm safely away. I feel fear for the most high-profile targets of Donald. I really do. I don't know what they're doing right now to prepare themselves. But there are some major targets of his. And I do have this suggestion. Vice President Harris could be sworn in as president, and then she could actually become our first woman president of the United States. And boom, there you go, history made. That's one. Two, she could then pardon Biden and Hunter for anything that the GOP ugly traitor Trump could come at them with. And anyone else that could be in his target path. So that could be done. She hasn't done anything that I can think of that he can try and arrest her for. I don't think so anyway. So that would be my suggestion, is for her to do that. Now, if you really want to go one step further, who is it that gave the president all supreme powers? So maybe as Democrats, we should be the ones to test that out. Maybe we should do exactly like Donald Trump said, not leave the White House. Just refuse to leave. Refuse to certify the election. Declare a state of emergency until we can find out what happened to those votes. But they won't. I strongly doubt that would happen. We know, that's part of the reason the Democrats continue to lose, is that weakness, that fear to do what we know they're going to do. And he said he's going to do it. He said he's going to do it. This is what he said he shouldn't have done before, and he will do this time. He won't leave, regardless. And we're not going to have to vote anymore. So just vote for him, and you won't have to vote anymore. And that's that. This is what his whole plan is power, revenge, be a dictator on day one. The FCC, that's going to go. Department of Education, going to destroy that. The SCC, gone. Department that oversees our air and quality, gone. And the people that he stated he is going to put in these positions, well, we know, he's going to go after all those people that he feels came after him. They are his target now. I don't even know if it's safe for them to remain in this country, honestly. Joe Biden and his family, Nancy Pelosi and her family, Liz Cheney and her family. The list goes on and on of people that are on his list of enemies, and he will use every department that he can, the IRS, the FBI, local police departments. He will use every department that he now will be king of to go after these people. And this is why I am saying, yeah, we should declare a state of emergency. And I think that we have valid reason to do so. And I do not believe that he won. I don't believe it. Okay. Call me going down the rabbit hole. I'm not going to get into, any kind of conspiracies of how it happened or what, but I don't believe it. And I hope that it is being investigated. There, I said it. And now I'll have a drink. At any rate, it is what it is right now. And if you're in mourning and you're feeling depressed, I understand. Don't jump out any windows, though. Not just yet. Don't do that. We still have some time before it actually happens, but I would say to begin to prepare for the worst. We can hope for the best. Anyway, you'll see my button there. Proudly wearing that. I'm an enemy of the state. What can I say? Okay, you know what? That's really all I've got right now, is my shock and dismay and heartbreak and, loathsome feelings towards any who voted for this vile rapist piece of filth who has said that his plan is to destroy democracy in the United States of America. And I can't even bring myself to say the words. So I'm just going to say over and out. See you next week. I hope.